Jeff, you know, at gunpoint at Carnegie Mellon, you were required to read both volumes of Alan Meltzer and get out the 60s, the 70s in Fed meeting. And what Dr. Meltzer would say is it is, at the end of the day, about the real economy. What did Jerome Powell today say about the American economy with the stunning statement, the dots in the Q&A?
Yeah, it was overall a validation of the transitory view. And, you know, what was a little bit feared going into the press conference was whether he would push back. He got the softball from Nick Timiraos on financial conditions.
Now be nice.
And clearly, you know, chose not to hit it out of the park in terms of pushing back on financial conditions. And that was a green light to continue the initial reaction from what we got in the statement of economic projections and the dots, and the 75 basis points in the dots is clearly the surprise. So, you know, this is a green light for investors. I think Nick's question and this question of financial conditions, and Bill Dudley mentioned it a minute ago, this is the problem, is that this can go on for a while and it can get overdone in terms of how much easing the market does before the Fed. But the message today is the Fed is very happy with what they've seen. What changed? You know, clearly it's the validation on the inflation story. And they're very pleased that after getting it wrong for so long, they're really getting the validation in getting it right.
So, Jeff, what do you do? Stay on the ball, hold on, grip tightly, don't let go? What do you do?
I mean, the short term is you can't really fight this until there's some kind of fundamental data from the economy side that pushes back. And there hasn't been. It's all been coming up. Soft landing, inflation declines. Yesterday, you can squint at core. Nobody seems to look at core anymore. He mentioned it very briefly. It actually popped up. So there are some, you know, vulnerabilities, but the message and the concern, no one's looking at the vulnerabilities. They're looking at the validation. And so with that validation, this bullish sentiment can go on for a while until we get a new round of economic data. And until then, I think the message is pretty clear that the Fed is more than willing to see an easing in financial conditions, won't step in the way of that.